Hello everyone. This is Anish Verma, and you are listening to the Empower Your Mind for Success podcast. Today is Memorial Day, so happy Memorial Day to all the listeners. This is the day when we salute and honor all the people who worked for in the armed services. It's a great day to remember all the sacrifices they have made for us, and they continue to do so. So happy Memorial Day, everybody. So I've been talking to you guys about my business attempts and learnings from the business attempts. If you have heard my previous podcasts, I had 5 business attempts, and the 5th one had just come to a disappointing end. And I knew from those learning moments that it was me who was the variable and not the businesses, right? Even though I thought at that time that the businesses were not right, it was me who was the variable, and I knew I had to do something about it. So I started reading a lot, listening a lot, and one day I was listening to James Clear. He wrote the book Atomic Habits, a great book. I strongly recommend that book. If you have not heard it or read it, you must definitely help. And I was listening to the book, and it was about 11 p.m. in the night. I had my headphones on. I was listening to the chapters, and he said something that made me sit up. I paused the audio. I was sitting on my kitchen table at that time. I immediately got up and took the headphones off and started pacing in the kitchen and the living room, and thinking about what he had just said, and it just made me realize something that I just couldn't stop thinking about, and it was about a pattern that I connected the dots about in all the books and audios and podcasts that I had been listening to for the last 18-20 months. And I was really surprised that all these books, all the audios spoke basically about 3 things that all successful people, in my opinion, emulate as well. And those 3 patterns were reading or being a student forever, number 1. Second is exercising a lot to keep your body fresh, stress-free. And the third was, there was a constant theme of someone helping someone else to achieve their dreams and goals. So there was always a mentor, or maybe a group of mentors, who were helping the main author or the character in the book or the audio to achieve their goals. And this repeated throughout these books. I mean, it was very clear, very evident for me. It was like an epiphany moment for me, and I'm like, wow, this is really interesting. And I thought, I need to test this. I really need to test this and be intentional about identifying these patterns in the books that I read or the people that I speak to. I remember the following week I was supposed to go to Chicago for an executive training. I was working at that time for a large company, and it is an executive training. So the CEO of the company, the executive vice presidents, and other senior officials came to the training to talk to us, to share their experiences with us. And there was a moment in the training where we could sit down with them and ask them questions. And I was like, I think this is the time where I need to validate my pattern that I detected about exercising, reading, to learn a lot, and someone to help them. So I asked most of the executives, what are your success rituals, or what are your habits? What do you guys do on a day-to-day basis? I mean, you guys are senior executives. How do you maintain all the things that are going on in your work life and in your personal life? And I was surprised to see and hear that everybody had a very similar pattern that matched with the pattern I had detected while listening to James Clear. And there was one executive I remember very clearly. He said, I wake up every day at 4 a.m. I was shocked, actually. He woke up every day at 4 a.m., read for an hour, exercised for another 35-40 minutes, and then started his work. There was another executive who spoke about a very similar thing. He said, I read a lot and I practice for running marathons. And he traveled around the world running marathons. So it was evident and very clear to me now that these three things are the patterns and the success habits or success rituals that every successful person practices. And I was like, then why am I trying to figure things out all by myself? If I want to be successful, logically, I should model my behavior and my rituals and my habits on these successful people. You know, I was already reading a lot and listening a lot, but I became more intentional about the reading, because it was not just reading for the heck of reading, you know. It was reading under a context to learn something new, to validate something, or to learn something and apply it to figure things out. So all these executives and successful people were definitely learning with an intention to apply. They had an open mind, and they always believed they did not know enough, and were always willing to learn. Right? So I said, okay, I need to do that as well. And I started taking a lot of notes in the book and even in my personal book about the stuff that the author was talking about. You know, whether I agree with the author, I don't agree with the author. And that also reminded me of an interview I had seen on LinkedIn about Bill Gates, where Bill Gates said, he read 52 books a year, and physical books, right? Whenever he traveled, he carried a suitcase full of books. 52 books a year, guys, is one book a week. Wow, one book a week. And he said, he took a lot of notes in these books, whether he agreed with the author, had an idea, had his own point of view. So he was actively reading the book. So I started doing that as well. So that left the other two things, which was exercising and finding the right people to help you. I hated exercise, guys. I need to be upfront here. I did not like to go to the gym. I did not like to wake up in the morning or go out for runs in the evening. That was not me. I love to play tennis, and I still do. And I played tennis twice a week at that time, but I don't think it was enough. So I started exercising every day. I knew this is something that I don't like, and I said, you know what? I have to do it. If I have to get better, if I want to be successful, I have to model this successful pattern. And I started exercising every day. First it was 15-20 minutes, it became 30 minutes, and now I am about 40-45 minutes every day I exercise, and that is every day, including Sundays. And I find time for it. The third thing was the who, right? The people who were helping these successful people. And I started reflecting on my businesses, and I'm like, who did I try to get help from? And the answer was no one. At least not, I did not push anybody to help me hard enough, or did not inspire or convince someone hard enough to help me. And so, I said that, okay, I need to find people, who will help me with my endeavors, right? I was already in my corporate job, mentoring my peers and the new hires into the company. I was receiving mentoring in my job from getting a promotion perspective, but that's under a very limited context. So I, from a personal perspective, wanted to get mentored. So I started reaching out on internet and started Googling a lot of coaches and mentors, and I found Darren Hardy. Darren Hardy is one of my mentors. I listen to Darren daily every day. John Maxwell is another one. I had already read some of his books. I joined John Maxwell team to learn mentoring and coaching. And since then, I have maintained these rituals, right? I have weaved these 3 rituals into my day-to-day life. I exercise every day. I read every day. I have a goal of reading 4 books a month. I'm not there as yet. I'm I'm at about 2.5 books a month at this point, but it has taken me about 3 years, 4 years to get there. And then I also wanted to, get help from people. So I started, I started identifying the groups that I could receive mentoring from, and then I joined a private mentoring group that I started getting lessons to learn from. I could see people, I could see these millionaires or people getting to become millionaires that I could model my business mentality on, right? So I started doing that, guys, and I believe these 3 patterns are consistent across all successful people, whether they are in business or in the corporate life. And I think you should go out and validate this for yourself as well. But if you could find a way to weave these rituals into your day-to-day life, I think you will be way far ahead than your peers. You will be in the top 5% group globally. I can assure you of that based on all the research that I have done. So there you go. Those are the 3 patterns, that I have identified and have seen it consistently in all successful people. And just to remind you, there are 3 things, right? It is they exercise a lot to keep their body in shape, to eliminate toxins in their body to relieve their stress. They read a lot, actively read, intentionally read, and have a spiritual kind of a debate with themselves about what they are doing, why they are doing. And third thing, they receive mentorship actively, right? And it's a very healthy mentorship. If you can Google anybody, right? You Google any of your favorite executive or a favorite business owner or an author, you will find the people who have mentored them so that they could get to the stage where they are at today. So if you guys can do these 3 things, I'm sure you guys will leap way far ahead than your peers, and you will be ready to start your next venture or get better at your existing venture. Look, I really believe this. You have unlimited potential. You just have to own it. So until next time, take care.